Hello, everyone.
Oh, we're here?
We're here.
All right, so I guess we're starting. Beautiful. We're back. Oh, yes. We're back. We're here.
I have to have my coffee, so now I'm charged up.
Yeah, now you charged up, right?
Yeah, I am.
I'm trying to get this situated here. Maybe I should put mine here. Yes, much better. Hi, guys. How you doing, man? It's good to be back.
Yes. Hello, hello.
I missed you, sis.
I know. I missed you too.
Yeah.
Welcome back to LA.
Yes. For those that don't know, I don't live in LA, and I take flights to LA,
Yes.
so we can get this going.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I'm looking at moving to Miami, so we're gonna have to figure out.
You're gonna have to check in with me, bro.
We gotta figure something. Listen, it will be worked out. We will
Right?
figure
It
out, for
has
sure.
to be, you know.
For
It
sure.
must. But I just want to say first and foremost, shout out to Will, 'cause my boy's here. right?
Yes.
He's here with me.
Welcome to LA, Will.
Yes, first time here too.
Oh wow. So he needs to get the bossa nova. He needs to get the
He needs to get that whole
experience.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beach.
Yeah. I
Okay.
do that. Also, I would love to say, all our listeners, man,
Yeah.
we appreciate you guys so
Yes,
much. You
we
guys
do.
are tuning in. You guys are showing so much love.
So
the
much love.
feedback has been amazing. So many topics you guys are asking. So many questions
Yeah.
you guys are asking for us to bring up. You know, and I just wanted to take the time out to say we are not anything without the listeners, right?
Yeah. We appreciate
So,
it so much.
Yes, just wanted to give you guys a shout out because without you guys, we're nothing. But we're back. We're back
We
with another
are back.
episode.
We are back.
It's like today, what we focusing on today? Today, is
Business.
Heavy on the business.
Heavy on the business.
Heavy on the business. And as you guys see, I'm over here on my laptop just, you know, getting some things down. I jotted some things down that we wanted to go through with you guys today.
Well, because here's the
Right.
thing, right?
Yeah.
We
talk.
spent time on personal, and when you're in the winner's seat, it's a combination, right? Spiritual,
Mhm.
mental, physical, but business
Mhm.
and entrepreneurship is been so critical to both of our lives. You know,
Yes.
when you take that leap of faith, and some of you haven't, and some of you have, and some of you haven't failed, and some of you haven't soared. And so this episode is going to be really special because it's really going to focus on what is it like to start from the beginning. So we're going to talk about, for those who have never done a business, and then if you have done a business, maybe you didn't know some of these hacks regarding business credit and even personal credit hacks, right, that we're going to provide.
Yep.
And we're going to end it with some business ideas
Yes.
that I've researched that you probably have never heard of that have made people a lot of money. So yeah, that's going to cover
Beautiful.
today's episode.
There's a lot of gems to give.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
let's get right to it, right?
Let's do it.
One of the main questions that I get a lot is how to start a business or how to start an LLC,
Yeah.
right? First and foremost, if you're trying to, start a business, the first thing you need to think about is creating an LLC,
Right.
right? A lot of people do business
Now,
without
let me ask you this question.
Yes.
What about the business name?
the business name is very
Because
important.
that is a little bit more critical.
Yes.
Because the LLC, right now, there could be someone who has the name, but depending on the state that you get it in, and this is a question I get.
Mhm.
Let's just say the business is called, let's just say Winter Seat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Winter Seat LLC is based out of, let's just say, California.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean if you have a name that you want to do, like Winter Seat
Mm-hmm.
LLC, right?
Mhm.
Can you do it in California too? The
Mhm.
answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do it in Texas? The answer is yes,
Mhm.
right?
Why Texas? Did you put that as an example,
I
or
just
is
put it as an example.
an example?
But
So
however, shout out to Texas because they have no state taxes and neither does Florida.
that's a fact.
And neither does Nevada.
Mhm.
So when you start getting into entrepreneurship, see, when you're working for someone, those things don't really matter as much. They do because they still take it out, but we get accustomed to just seeing that deduction from your paycheck, right?
Yeah.
But when you're a business owner, every single penny counts. You don't want,
Hell yeah.
California taking 30%.
Mm-mm.
That's not even the federal side, which is to the IRS, but this is just the state side,
It's tough. It's tough.
It's very tricky. And guess what? They were going to snatch it out of your account. It's happened to me. They were just going to take
Oh
the money.
yeah. And I will we definitely got to get into that.
Yeah.
As far as like, expenses and taxes and all of that stuff, right? That's very important. So I like the fact that you brought that up. That it's very important for the name because
Yeah.
you don't want to have the same name in the same state. You can't,
You can't.
right?
Also, I want to say this. I had a friend of mine. She had a business idea for about 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And I lost contact with her. And I was like, hey, did you ever launch it? Guess what she said? I could never think of a name. Listen, folks.
Don't let a name stop you.
And this is no shade to her if she's watching this, but
Yes, shout out to her.
let's be serious here. If you have an idea that you want to get off the ground, just get it off the ground.
Yeah.
The name can change. The domain name can change.
Yes.
But launch. And one of the easiest things to do is think about names or words that resonate with you. If it's your kid's name, your grandma, your favorite, whatever. Like, don't let a name prevent you from getting your business off the ground.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
No, I mean, come on, man. Why would you stop from creating something great?
So let's talk about it. Yeah. What was your first business name ever? With whatever business, your first ever business you ever did?
Well, the first business that I ever did was the Bank Zone Trading Club, right? Which is, it's the club in where I teach and mentor people the markets, day trading, right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's just Forex, right? It's not Forex. I like what Will said the other day, actually. He said, we teach people the language of the charts. Because it is language, right? So, obviously, I bootstrapped my business before launching it, right?
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know what bootstrapping your business is actually getting a gauge of what people would be interested in the product that you're going to, bring up, right? Bring to the table, right? And so what you do is put out a small sample size product, one-time price, right? In this case, for me, was obviously mentoring and teaching people how to properly approach the markets, right? So in this case, is all based on it's client based, right? Subscription based, right? So I'm like, okay, how do I bootstrap my business? Well, 3 months before I launched the business, what I did was I launched and I promoted a webinar for a one-time price of $100.
Okay.
Right. And the webinar sold out with, I must have promoted like 2 weeks before. The webinar sold out with 85 people.
Yeah.
So I in about 2 weeks, we were able to turn around, me and Slick, my partner, we were able to turn around about $8,500 just off of this one webinar. Right. Now what happens is, here's the gem, right? What happens is, now I bootstrap my business. So now I know for a fact that at least these 85 people would come into my business at $100 per month because they were already able to afford $100 for that webinar. So now it's a subscription based on $100 a month that I launch a couple months later. And I say, okay, now I know and I have a gauge of my clients. Now I know that I have a foundation of at least 80 to 85, 90 people that would be willing to purchase my product. Right. But here's the gem. I did that by giving away information. It was about 3-hour webinar where I gave information, beginner, intermediate, and advanced level education on the Forex and day trading markets, right? And here's the gem, right? That same webinar where I was able to bootstrap my business, I was able to give a small product. I was able to give education, right? And I was able to turn a profit all before I actually started my business, but I was also using that same content from the webinar to promote my business.
Yep.
Right? So I'm killing like 3 birds, 1 stone. By the time I opened my business, which was April 1st, 2021, the first 12 hours, I had 136 signups at $100. We was able to turn over almost $14,000. I'm getting goosebumps saying it because it's crazy. I've never seen this kind of money, to be honest with you. And guys, I'm trying to get to her level, you know what I'm saying? Because she, but, I was able to turn that kind of profit, and then just using that webinar as promotion and obviously other things, but that was the foundation of what started bootstrapping my business. And that was my first business in which I actually started officially. And I mean official business where you build an LLC, business address, all that stuff. And the first 2 weeks, we had 200 signups.
Wow.
It was we had the first month was a $30K month. you know, and it humbled me because
Congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. But it was all the preparation that we did before. It was me and Slick worked hard as fuck to make sure that everything went to work. Shout out to Slick because he hit the back end of it all. Crazy. Shout out to Slick. He hit the back end. It's crazy. Just settled, you know, the payment, the payment system and the bank accounts and all this stuff. And obviously, I was the face. I'm, you know, pushing it. I'm getting the following. I was the one that mentored about 150 people in like a couple of months to keep bootstrapping the business. So bootstrapping your business is very important. Gauging the clients that you may have with the product that you're looking to bring out before you actually launch your business is very important. That's a gem for you guys. So yes, the first business that I actually launched was TBZ Trading Club, LLC. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. But I had a different name before it. It was called Blue Bank Academy, and I never moved with that. So don't let a name stop you. Yeah, don't let a name stop you from, you know, doing something great.
Yeah, yeah. At 18, I was...
Yeah, what was your first business? Right?
Let me just say this. I was really, really a superb hustler. Went to college in the Bay Area, and I watched people. I was working at... where was I working at the time? I think it was BB. Back in the day, there was this clothing brand called
BB. Wow.
I was working at
Yo, y'all, all y'all girls I went to high school with, y'all was wearing that BB black or white shirt right here with the little diamonds.
The little stones.
I remember that.
Oh,
I remember that.
BB had the game on lock. They're done now because that's what happens in life. It's a full circle moment and they're done, right?
That's crazy.
But at one point, BB was it.
Dude,
and then they, man, it was crazy. So
it was up there.
So interesting enough, I would watch people and I would see, I saw things differently than the normal person. Even at 18, 19 years old, I was like, okay, I see girls are into their hair. I saw guys were into their shoes. Right?
Yes.
Shoes were really, really big for guys.
Oh, man.
And still is to this day. This is actually really funny to say because I never told this to anybody. Only those that like know me know this. But
it's only in the Winter Seat podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I didn't have a website. I used Craigslist, which was popping at that time. Craigslist was everything. You went on there for whatever, cars, this, that. So I literally found a lady who was from India who had like some hair extensions.
Yeah.
I bought them from her from Craigslist and then just resold them on Craigslist because she wasn't marketing towards like the right audience.
Yeah.
She didn't have that marketing piece.
How old were you?
18.
You were literally meant to do business. Do you understand?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
That this is a business that is still taking off now.
I know.
And you were super ahead of the game.
I know.
That's crazy. I ain't know this, guys. I'm just learning this now. And there's a lot of things that we're going to learn from each other still here. We're still besties, but there's a lot of stuff that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
and so
that's crazy.
Then I was like, the guys, the women's obsession with extensions, the guys' obsession with the shoes. I found a plug overseas, and I'm not proud to say this, but this is the truth.
Yeah.
They were fake.
Okay.
Air Force Ones and Jordans and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was getting them imported.
Yeah.
And I was selling them. People went crazy.
The fact that you was getting them imported at 18
I was getting
crazy.
them imported. And
it was the fake shoe business at that time was crazy.
Yeah, really crazy. Because I didn't even know that. I know now that they were fake, but like then I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Because they looked good. Like I could tell like, I would go to the store and do like a side-by-side comparison.
You could tell there's something that's off.
Something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
And people were going crazy. So I would buy, because the thing with that is it's not a one size fits all. Men wear this size, that size. So I looked up the average men's shoe size.
Yeah.
I think it was a 10.
Okay.
I bought like 3 size 10s.
Yeah.
8.5, 9, 12 is a popular men's size, and 11. I had like in a range of sizes just to test it out.
12, that's me.
And this interesting enough, size 12 ended up being my most popular. But for some reason with these fake shoes, they were slightly off in size too. The 12s, people who wore 12 really needed a 13, and the 11s really needed like an 11.5. And so, anyway,
yeah,
I was like, I wonder, is it gonna work? I used Craigslist, put it out there. Man, my phone was ringing off the hook.
Buzzing. Hey, listen, Tasha hit the trap early.
Man, they were like, I need these Air Force Ones. You got these Jordans. Just like, wow, And I was at one point, I'm like, okay, I might have to leave my job at BB because like, my little side gig is taking
Turning out
off.
some profit, yeah.
And so that was my first unofficial job because I didn't, not job, but business, but I didn't make an LLC. I just kept kind of like hustling.
Yeah.
My first LLC I created was called Deanna Marie Boutique when I moved to LA with one of my friends. And we were going to sell the same things that I had the plug on. We were going to sell them in LA.
Okay.
And we just ended up, interesting enough, my godfather, he is a very successful ex-NFL player, and I presented him the business idea. And I told him, like, look, I did it in college, you could work, like, but it was like still the whole thing of like selling things that weren't real, right? That
the business model was, you had the right concept of what you wanted to do. You just didn't have the particularly best product.
Yeah, so here's what happened. But I knew it was still moving LA because the question is, did it really matter to me at that time that it was real or not? No, to me it mattered, like, if it's going to sell, it's going to sell, right?
Yeah.
But here's what he told me. He says, no, I'm not investing in this. And I was hurt because I never came to him with nothing and he had millions. And I was like, dang. And he said, I want to tell you this. And I'll never forget it to this day. He says, in life, you're going to get 1,000,000 no's and all it takes is one yes.
Yep.
However.
Ooh, you need to say that again. You need to say that again.
This is another no.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. But yeah, again, it was in life. In life, you're going to get 1,000,000 no's and all it takes is one yes.
Because it's true.
So what that translates.
But he gave you another no.
And he gave me another no. And he stood firm. And I was like, please, it's a good idea. He was like, no.
Oh, man.
But what it resonates in me now as, as a seasoned businesswoman who's been through several ups and downs, you have to keep knocking at the door.
You have to.
You have to. And even when you have an idea and that idea doesn't work, it's okay to pivot towards another one. Know when to get out, whether it's relationships, business, friendships, know an expiration date, know when it's time to pivot into something different and to try something new. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's a
And
gem.
sometimes it's okay to spin the block back if it makes sense on that business. The timing might have not been great.
Yep.
Even on that relationship, the timing might have not been good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Even on that friendship, the timing might have not been good.
Yep.
So, I think the saying that he taught me really stuck with me because that was like 14 years ago he told that to me. Yeah. So actually 15 years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a that's a good business model.
Yeah.
You just did and it's true. Why would you care if the product is it going to sell or not? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Really, is it going to sell or not? So interesting stories. I will tell you this. I like the fact that you said in business when you go on, when you take on this entrepreneurship journey, it's not easy. Right. Especially me when I quit NYU in 2018, I believe. It was tough, but I wanted to put that pressure on myself because it's the only way that I know. See, here's the deal. When you put pressure on yourself, your survival instincts is coming.
I have a question for you, though.
Yeah.
You were at NYU, 2018.
Yeah.
Who did you see around you or in your household or in your community that were entrepreneurs? What gave you the inkling to want to be an entrepreneur is my question. Just coming from your background, I'm just curious to know that.
Nobody but God. God gave me. I felt like I never belonged when I was at a 9-to-5, no matter which one it was. Before NYU, I was in NYU for 2 years. Before NYU, I was in Montefiore for 4 years. Montefiore is another hospital, right? NYU was a hospital and clinic that I was in. So I had an okay resume for someone that wanted to continue that medical field, right? I was a clerk. I was looking to be a supervisor, just things like that, right? And I thought leaving Montefiore, and I got, NYU job right afterwards. Slick ended up getting me that job because he was working there already. I thought that it would make it better. But in reality, all I was doing was just putting a Band-Aid above a cut. Like I'm not really curing the situation, right? I go to another job, I'm happy. I'm happy. I get to NYU, I'm happy for the first 6 months and I start getting bored again. right? So it just felt like I didn't belong, like I had a bigger calling, right? Nobody in my family is entrepreneur. Sorry. I grew up, my mom at the time had, so my little sister's father, shout out to Beba, my little sister, shout out to Janelle too, that's both my sisters, I love them. My smallest sister, my little sister, her father, we have different fathers, right? Her father was with my mother for about 7 years, and he owned a boutique.
Okay.
Right? And he would sell these high fashion, you know, brands, all this stuff, right? And even, I used to get called Armani Exchange poster boy when I was like 13, 14. So all I was wearing was that off of it. So that's the only person I could think that I saw, you know, doing this thing as far as like business. And but but he wasn't in my life entirely. He ended up leaving my mom. They finished off. But honestly, nobody. When I say God, I mean like I just felt in my heart and my soul that I wasn't meant to just continue to work a 9 to 5, right? And like we said in previous, you know, episodes before, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. What's wrong with is you not doing anything for yourself outside of that,
right?
And wanting more, right? Because you can't want more and staying at a 9 to 5. That's not. You're not happy. If you're in a 9 to 5 and you want more, then you're not happy in that 9 to 5. That's just the facts. Right? Because if you wouldn't need to feel that you want more if you're happy in that 9 to 5.
So let's talk about this, because most people are in a 9 to 5, right? That's just life. We have to pay our bills. We have to do
talk.
that.
100%.
I my last 9 to 5. I was a corporate investigator for Nordstrom. That was my last 9 to 5, and it was miserable. But to be honest with you, it wasn't miserable because I wanted to be necessarily an entrepreneur. It was miserable because I had met this female that was like out here in LA, and she asked me to start managing her. And I was like, okay, I guess I can start. She was on TV and stuff, and I had known her from college. And she said to me, and I said, I'll put it around my work schedule. And she said to me, and actually she said this to me about 5 blocks from this spot where we're at, and I'll never forget. She was like, girl, what do you mean you're going to put it around your work schedule? She was like, this is LA. Nobody works out here. And I said, well, how does everybody pay their bills? And she goes, girl, we figure it out. You'll see. Nobody works.
That's crazy.
And I said, I can't not work. Yeah. She goes, trust me, you won't be working your job
mindset.
Longer. Yeah. And she was right. I was not working my job probably not even 2 months more. Yeah. And I loved, shout out to Nordstrom. It was a great company. By the way, anyone who's looking for a 9 to 5, loss prevention at Nordstrom, especially now people doing grab and runs and
crazy.
But it used to get crazy for people. I've been bit, slammed, but I liked it. I was like rough, tough.
There's certain, again, I want
let me just say, I didn't like getting bit. I'm gonna be clear, but I liked, tussle, like the action.
Yeah, the action, right? The adrenaline. Yeah. So I will say this. I will say this again. There's no bashing of 9 to 5s. As for me though, I felt like this is not for me.
How did you know it was the right time to leave? And why didn't you, like, there's a lot of people who spend time working their 9 to 5 and trying to also run a business. It's very hard and challenging to run a business that you're trying to grow with the 9 to 5.
You're going to reach a ceiling. There's going to be a ceiling, and you're not going to get above that ceiling on your business. It might do good. And, but there's going to be a limit, because you got to understand that having a 9 to 5, it's not about the job. There's so many 9 to 5s that are good jobs that still pay really good money. It's about your time.
Yeah.
It's about your time. You're giving them 8 hours, but you're forgetting that you're hour and a half traveling going, an hour and a half traveling coming back.
Right.
Right? So you're giving them about 11, 12 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now, after that, what are you doing when you get home? You're tired. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So it's really the time. Now imagine if you was to give those same 12 hours, take it back and give it to your business.
Right.
Completely different, right? Now, when's the right time? There's not a right time. There's never a right time. If you're looking for the perfect time to leave your job to start that business, there is never a right time.
Right.
Why? Because you say, okay, when I rack up 50,000, then I'll leave. You rack up 50,000, but then you say, because this is how humans work, right? This is part of greed. This is part of the stuff that comes in with psychology in the markets, right? When you get to 50,000, you say, I can get to 100 first. Let me get to 100. And you'll spend that whole time. And the next thing you know, you've spent 3-4 years. Now you don't even want to do that business no more.
Yeah.
That's a whole different time. There's not a right time. There's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Fucking do it. That's what I did. Right? Now, of course, you don't want to do it stupidly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to have a certain foundation of money to be able to hold yourself down, have certain solutions to be able to make some money at least, right? And know what you're leaving for, right? When I left, I knew what I was leaving for. But I knew also what would hold me down just in case if it was slow on what I was leaving for. I left because I wanted to get my time back to trade. Right? Because I knew that I was already in the job making what I make every 2 weeks. I was doing that already every 2 weeks on trading.
Right.
So I say if I get my 8 hours, 10 hours back, then it's just logical that I'm going to make more money because I'm giving that more time to trading, right? But just in case I can't make what I was making every 2 weeks, I'll go ahead and Uber while I get better at trading. Right? I'll go ahead.
How long did it take you to master trading?
3 years.
Okay, it took you
3 years is when I turned profit over. The first 2 years I was losing every single dollar that I deposited, and that's because
Why didn't you quit?
I thought about quitting so many times.
Why didn't you?
I'm not a quitter.
Yeah, but your money went down the drain. It's over. It's done. It's a loss. Why did you keep going?
Because in the world is going to give you a lot of no's. You just need that one yes. That's all it is. And I couldn't quit. Once I saw, what was my one yes? When I withdrew the first time, I was able to withdraw like $500 and it made it real. I didn't withdraw $2,000, $4,000, $10,000, $40,000, all that stuff that y'all see on social media, which is bullshit anyway. I withdrew $500, $490, I'll be exact, right? Because of fees and stuff at that time. And I went and I bought some sneakers, and I physically made it real. I said, no way I'm quitting. No way, because I'm not doing it. If it goes bad, then I at least got Uber to drive around and make some money. But it wasn't the right time. It's never going to be the right time. It's the right time when you say it's the right time. And when the right time is when you actually fucking do shit.
Right.
When you actually take that risk, you know? So, yeah, you know, it was it was tough. It was tough at first. The first 3 years, I lost a lot of money, but when I turned out that profit and I made it real and I paid myself and I bought things, then I just kept getting better because now it's real. Now I've reaped some of the benefits. Yeah, of course, I might have lost over $10,000, you know, but just making that 490, I was like, okay, it's real. Like I can really do this. And now it's just a matter of like, it makes you believe more. It gives you more confidence in saying, okay, you know what, I'm gonna hit the markets the right way. I'm gonna dedicate more time. I'm gonna really get down to this because I've really just made money off of this. And now it's a regular thing.
I was debating on if I should mention this part, but we're transparent on the Winter Seed podcast. Right?
Yes.
We're honest. And I think the journey of entrepreneurship is such a beautiful one. And, you know, when you hear other people opening up about their stories and their journeys, it can inspire, you know, someone else out there. My best business was my skincare business, right?
Yes.
It came about actually from me not feeling well, having to get vitamin infusions done with an IV. And the nurse was, she was half Korean, half white. And she had this glowing skin. And I just couldn't believe, I'm like, her skin was just like glass. It was just so beautiful. I was like, what the heck? And as we were doing these different treatments of just vitamins for me, my skin started getting really like nice. And I was just like, anybody else, right, in that mindset would just be like, okay, cool, yeah, let's keep it going, right? But not me. I was like, I gotta bottle this up. I gotta sell this.
Natural businesswoman.
Yeah. Even within me not feeling well, like I was like, I gotta figure this out. So, and I'm gonna give it even more transparency. Yeah. I had silver fillings in my mouth. Don't ever get silver fillings in your mouth, like ever. Get porcelain. I got it when I was younger, and it affected me and caused something called multiple sclerosis to occur. Thankfully, I have been able to beat that. But at that time, I was having vision issues. So as I'm sitting here and can't even see out of one eye, I'm thinking, and my vision came back. My body regulated, and it was fine. But when I felt better, I was like, I wasn't sitting around here like sad about being sick. I was like, my skin, I got to bottle this up. And she's looking at me crazy. She was like, well, how? And I was like, I got to do it. I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. And she was just like, well, it's gonna be really expensive to like do this. And
I mean,
was
you
like,
figured that if you're having this problem, then other people would have this
Yeah,
problem. And the
for
best way
sure.
to make a business, to create a business, is figure out a problem, find a solution with a product, and bring it to the
Absolutely.
world. That's what a business
So
is.
here's the interesting thing. So, like I said, it was all vitamins, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to get started, and so I actually ordered these vitamins from a vitamin shop and scratched off the label and put my label on top of it. That's how hungry I was to get this idea off the ground.
Yeah.
And so I got the website up. My first pictures were like terrible looking because it's the label that I freaking printed at FedEx. I don't know if you know what I mean? Like, you want to talk about grit and grind? I printed it out and put it on.
Now, where you at this point in your life? Where you at? You living here in LA?
Yeah,
or?
I live here in LA.
Okay.
I'm looking at relocating to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm on the fence about it. I want to change,
Okay.
but I love LA.
Okay.
But I'm craving new energy, new.
Yeah. I know
newness,
how that is. Now, when you started your skincare,
Mhm.
you were here. Meaning, how long ago?
Yeah, I created it in 2017.
Okay.
We launched in 2017. I created it in like the end of 2016.
Okay.
And so 2017, like to do it, she was right.
Mhm.
It was gonna be very expensive because you got to it's custom formula.
Yes.
And so I literally went to like one of those like vitamin shop stores, bought the product, relabeled it.
She's
and
gangster for that. I promise. That's
freaking-
crazy gangster right there.
It's really insane when you really think about it. And I was like, I just want to see if people will buy it. And
Yeah.
now that's real bootstrapping, right? Like that's like
double pound.
like
double pound.
that's like
Oh,
listen,
shit.
So I
Real, you literally took it off. I was like, that's real bootstrapping.
yeah, took it
right
off the
there.
shelf
Let's
and
see if
literally
people will buy it.
scraped because their label was on there tough. Scraped it, okay? Took fingernail
Alcohol and all that.
fingernail polish remover and alcohol.
I knew it.
Listen, I had to.
I knew
It wouldn't come off.
Oh shit.
And once I did that, I put my label, printed it at FedEx,
Mm-hmm.
FedEx Kinko's, printed it on there, and put it on the site, and then waited. But then I prayed. I was like, I feel something
love
about
that.
this. I
I
feel something about
waited.
this business.
But then I
waited.
prayed.
I waited. I prayed. And I said, God, let this take off.
Yeah, you could have all the hustle in the world, but you better make sure you got more prayer in the world.
Yeah,
than that,
you gotta
know
have
what I'm saying?
prayer.
Put some
And
prayer
you
in that
gotta
hustle.
have if you're in a relationship with somebody, you gotta have somebody who also like is pushing you, sees the vision. How can I help? How can I? Because the person I was dating, very supportive. Like,
That's super
can-
important.
I can do a testimonial video if you want. I can,
That's so dope.
that type of like
Yeah,
support and love is so critical.
Yeah.
So I put it out, prayed, waited, didn't even look at my phone. Next day, 3 orders. I was like, wow.
All I need was one order. I mean, somebody. Okay, cool. Then somebody's into good.
3 orders. So now I only had bought 2 because I wasn't sure how it was. So now I had to go scrape and do that again. The whole process.
Yeah.
I was scraping all night. I'm like, this isn't gonna work.
He's scraping all night, man.
And then I had to ship it out,
Yeah.
because there's no, I don't have a fulfillment team. I had to do it myself
Mhm.
and handwrite their name. I didn't even print it on like the label. It was like handwritten.
Mhm.
Took it to the postal service to have them ship it out. And the crazy thing is when people got it, hey, because at one point some of the labels wouldn't come off, so I had to lay mine on top.
Okay.
Hey, there's like another label on top of my bottle. I was like, dang, okay, I'm busted. I had to think on my toes. I was like, okay, well, would you like a refund, or because what could I say? Would you like to be refunded, or would you, And she was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm so I think I want to give it a try, but I don't know. But she was like, it just doesn't look good. And when she said that, I was like, dang. From a previous state.
So it's not the actual wanting of the product. The product and everything is good. It's just the appearance.
But see, their formula was not my formula.
Yeah.
It was just one of the key ingredients they sold. So I was just selling that key ingredient. My formula, the vitamins mixed together.
Of course, you
it's
grew.
It's like science.
You grew. You grew the company to what it is today. Of course.
Yeah. Right? And so when she said that, I said, "Dang, I can't do this no more." And it's too time consuming for me anyway, right? Like, I'm like, I got to figure something out. And so I did. I found a lower. Because now slowly money was coming in. Yeah. I found a lower supply. MOQ, which is minimum order quantity. Most places will say, oh, you need to have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000.
Found one for less. Yeah.
Anybody who's going to the business side of things, there's three things to look at. There's manufacturing, there's private label, and then there's retail, right? And then there's also wholesale. But I wholesaled my product. I wasn't wholesaling their product because it's my custom formula. So when you have a custom formula, no one else can use your formula with that manufacturer.
That's what patent.
It's not patent because formulas are very difficult to patent, but you have a trade secret agreement in place with your manufacturer that they're not going to sell your product to someone else.
This is huge, guys. This is gems right here.
Yeah, this is really important because if you have something that's working, especially with me, I knew I had cracked the code on something, and it had never been marketed to the African American community whatsoever. And so I knew that market, as well as the Spanish, like it was so many markets that this product was so good for because it was a very unique offering, So the product, for example, you go out into the sun. My issue is like my face will be light. My legs will be dark from the sun. My arms will be dark because I'm driving in my car. The sun is beaming. Well, if I take off all my clothes, then over here, I'm light. But my arms are dark and my legs are dark. So this product actually made you all one color to where you're not dark on your legs, light on your arms. It gave you a full glossy.
And it's scientifically safe.
100% natural.
Obviously, I'm asking just for the listeners.
100% all natural. This is no harsh chemicals, no crazy. And so it was a very unique offering, Yes. And so I think that once people started using it and they told other people and the celebrities got behind it, and that brand was out of there. So
and look how it started.
Yeah, that's how it started.
And today that's your biggest.
Yeah, today that's my most successful ever business. I did then go into the restaurant business.
Yeah. Oh no, you've done many. I know. And I know that.
That one was that business. This is another gem, and we're gonna get back on track of the checklist.
No, this is good. This is good
because I want people to know the steps. Right.
We'll move into this right now.
The mistake that I made was if you have something that's working, don't give up on it. Don't put it on the shelf, right? This goes for anything in life. If it's working, see it through. And don't think that something is always going to be there, because I just thought it was going to continue to flow. Well, Facebook suspended my ads. That was my main bread and butter,
Yeah, Facebook ads, it changed the game for marketing online.
Yeah, and when they blocked it and suspended it and this and that and the iOS update, man, it was a lot of turmoil. But I was too busy worried about my other business, 6 restaurants, that were not bringing in the same type of money. All it was bringing in was stress, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we can get back to your list because that's just a couple of gems that I wanted to drop, and I'll plug some more in as we continue.
No. Love it. Love it. On. So now that we're talking about, obviously, a couple of businesses that we've done, all these things, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people want to know, right? Because I got a lot of this question. How do I start an LLC? What are the proper steps to start an LLC or to start a business, right?
So it's interesting because you and I do it two different ways.
Yes.
You do it yourself, which I think is great because
I've done it both ways.
Yeah. When you're starting off your business, you need to be cost effective as much as possible. And so I'll let you break down how to do it yourself.
And then
I'll be the first to say I have never done my LLCs myself ever. I've always paid a company because for me, everything is about my time, right? And so if I say, hey, I'd rather you do it, here's the payment, blah, 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 right? I also do all of my companies out of, I like Delaware, right? And then there's Nevada. So
can you tell them why though?
Well, there's some tax benefits, and Wyoming is also a good one. And there's also some protection around knowing who's involved in the company.
What are the locations again?
Wyoming, Nevada, and Delaware.
Those are 3 key locations. And yes, you can start an LLC. If you live in New York, if you live in LA or any city, you can start an LLC somewhere else in another state. You can absolutely do that.
Yes, you can.
I mean, you live here in LA and you start your LLCs in Delaware, right?
Yeah, and I still have to pay my taxes on those entities, but
Mm-hmm.
I just like I like them better, the structure and the protection.
Yeah, protection.
Especially if there's lawsuits. There was a lot of lawsuits with the restaurant business, and so that taught me very quickly.
So important. Just
protect yourself.
Simply, the location of where you start your LLC is so important as well, because and you know, when you figure that out, look into the laws. Yeah, you're gonna look into the Delaware laws, right? Look into the Nevada laws. Look into the Wyoming laws, right?
Right.
And you know, if you are in a certain state and you want to start your LLC in that state, look into those laws first, right? Just to make sure that you are in agreement with it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah. So when I started the Bank Zone Trading Club, Slick was the one that did the LLC, but not manually. We did it. You can do it through InkFile, right? InkFile.com does everything for you, and they'll provide the EIN, all that stuff. Obviously, you're going to pay a little bit more, right? Most people that are looking to start an LLC or start a business, they have time, right? This is some people that are just startups, right? We're talking about startups, right? We would want to do it. We would want to save our time, right? But other people may have the time, right? So how do you start with is least cost effective, right? Well, the first thing you want to do is figure out a location, right? So is the first step before you even open the LLC, and a lot of people don't know this, is figure out the city and then get a business address. Very important to get a business address. Some people start businesses and they'll start with an LLC and an EIN and they think that's done, right? Cool. You got your LLC, you got your EIN, right? And I'll explain what EIN is now moving forward. But the first step for me is getting a business address, because you need to input the business address that you have.
Okay, what if they don't
on your LLC?
Or what if they don't have one?
Well, they have to get it. And where
how?
do they go? Well, easy, right here. So I got the reference for you guys, right? So the first thing you want to do is obviously go into, I think I have it here. It's about $15 a month, to be honest, right? Let me go back to my notes here. So if you go to ipostal1.com, which is ipostal1.com, for $14-15 a month, you can get a business virtual address in which you can receive mail and forward it to your house.
Right. Yep.
So that's the main thing. Number one is not starting the LLC. Number one is starting the business address, because you need to put the business address on the LLC. Right. The next step is you absolutely want to plug in a business phone number to that business address.
Right.
Now, if you started the business address, for example, right, you're based in Delaware, right? So our business address is based on Delaware. You want to get a business phone number that's based on Delaware. Now, you don't have to live in Delaware to do this, right? You can do it in any state, as we mentioned, right? So
I want to just chime in really fast on that.
Yes.
My company is based out of Delaware. My company phone number is not a Delaware phone number.
And it's not an obligation, but I'll explain why it looks better on your profile as far as business funding goes.
Right. Absolutely. Right. It depends on what you want to do it for. Absolutely.
So it's not necessarily that it's wrong, because it's fine, right? When I started the Bank Zone Trading Club, it introduced me to a lot of business, right? And so now I know a lot more than what I knew before. So before, our business phone number was our personal numbers.
Right.
Now we have business phone number, right?
Yeah.
So first step is business address, right? And you can go to ipostal1.com for that, $15 a month, right? It's worth it, obviously. You're going to be an established business, so you're going to be getting business credit offers, credit line offers, loans, lawsuits if anything happens, or anything that has to do with your business is going to be sent to your business address, right? You can put your personal address, but it's not going to look good. It's not going to have a good business profile, right? So the next step, number 2, is plugging in the number, right? Now, where do you get this number? And you're like, okay, do I have to connect a phone line? You do not have to do that. It's another $15 a month, right? You can connect your number, right, to your LLC, you can go to evoice.com for this, right? Meaning E, V as in Victor, OICE.com, right? And it adds your number to 411. Now, this is very important. Now you have a business address and a business phone number, which comes out in 4011, which gives you a solid business profile when you get your LLC. Now, the third step is going to your LLC, get your LLC, right? Now, you can go through IncFile if you want, or is it simple, right? Every state has a Secretary of State.
Right.
And you can Google Secretary of State of, or simple as this, how to start an LLC in whatever state. You'll find the Secretary of State of that state, and then you'll be able to fill out to do your own LLC. Now, each state obviously has a different price, right? Florida has it's like $125, right? New York is like $300. Boston is like $500. Delaware might be something else, right? So every state has a different price value based on, the LLC, whatever state that you're in, right? Or whatever state you choose, right? Anywhere between $100 to $800 is what you're going to pay for the LLC itself, right? Now, that's the third step, like creating the actual LLC. And how do you do that? Again, it's a simple process. You go on Google. It's not how to create an LLC to get a whole lesson on it. It's for you to figure out what's the Secretary of State of whatever state you want to start that business in, right? And then fill out that LLC there. If you guys have any questions on that, please listen on the comments. Send us DMs, whatever the case may be, because I can actually, depending on the state, I can actually walk you through the right situation, right? Now, once the LLC is created, you'll be able to plug in the business address that you already created and the business phone number that you already created, which looks good for business funding, right? We need everything to look as professional as possible so that way banks can look at our business and say, we're not thinking twice. Who you think they're going to pick first? Is somebody that has an LLC and an EIN with no business address and no business phone number, or somebody that has all of that? Clearly, the banks want to be safe. They're like, okay, they don't know if it's a virtual address. They don't know if it's a phone number that you're paying monthly for. It doesn't matter. It just needs to be in the credit profile, in the business profile.
And by the way, it's getting harder and harder these days for banks just because of the economy. So you want to make your package that you're presenting look as solid as possible.
Yes, that perfect. You want to present you want to be well prepared. Yeah. Right? Like it's like going for a job, right? You got to input as much as you can on that cover letter, on that resume. You can go do an internship just to, if you were looking for a job next year, something like that. You want to beef up that resume as much as you can and make it look as pretty as you can, so that way they don't think twice about it, right? Because it's true. We was talking about before in other podcasts, in other episodes, we're saying how banks are making it's harder for them to put loans out there because there's not many people that want, because the interest rates are so high right now. So it's like, okay, they're making it flexible for us, but you still need to come correct with your business profile, right? With the package that we're presenting, right? So the third step, obviously, creating your LLC. Now, the next step is very easy, and people think it's some crazy shit to do this. An EIN. An EIN number or a tax ID, which is pretty much kind of like your business social security, right? It's the way that they identify your business, right? Yep. So now you can literally just go on IRS.gov and you can create your EIN there. It's literally a few steps and it's free. You don't have to pay for it, right? So that EIN, obviously, you need to create the LLC first because it's going to ask you, you're doing business as what? It's going to locate that business in which you just created already, right? Your third step was LLC. So you input that there on the EIN, and then you'll be able to create your EIN for free, right? So now you have your business address, you have your phone number, business phone number, you have your LLC, and then obviously you have your EIN. Now, the last step is opening up a business bank for your LLC.
Yes.
Without this, they're not going to take you serious. You cannot plug in your personal account, your personal bank account to your business. Right. Every time you go for funding, and when I say funding, I mean business credit lines, business loans, credit card stacking, which a lot of people do nowadays, and just regular loans, right? You need, again, to have a business bank account. And don't get an online business bank account. There's I'll give you some, right? Chase Business, one of the best ones.
Chase is number one for me.
Right? Yeah. Wells Fargo Business bank account.
I have Wells Fargo too, yeah.
U.S. Bank Business bank account. Great, right? So those are some. Navy Federal Business Bank. This my bank. This one of the, I don't even know how I left it. One of the best ones. Mm-hmm. That's my bank. I love that. And the reason why a lot of lenders, when I say lenders, banks, right, institutions, they don't lend out money when you have an online bank.
Right.
They do, but some of them don't accept that. But when you come with a package the way prepared, the way we just told you, and you have a Chase Business Bank or a Wells Fargo Business Bank, and you deposit, you don't even have to deposit nothing crazy, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. There needs to be some sort of capital there. And you need to, the trick is, inflate your business account. If you have money coming into your personal account, take half of that money and start inflating your business account because they want to see revenue coming into that account.
Or another hack, actually, what you can do is take a friend, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say your business is, let's just say Bank Zone, right? Mm-hmm. You have a friend and it's invoice where they're, spending $4,000 every month consistently for 6 months.
Yep.
And then you turn around and you show the bank that you have this consistent flow of, cash coming in. Mm-hmm. And then, they can give it back to you.
Yes. And simple.
And then you show that to the bank, and that's how you can get loans for sure.
The crazy thing is that these things that we're telling you guys, they're not illegal things. These are loopholes.
Yeah.
In reality, you're inflating your, legally, because can't nobody tell you where you can move your money.
Right.
So when banks are looking at your bank account, they're looking at bank statements. You know what I mean? So they're only seeing what comes in and what comes out.
Right.
And based on that, you can even get revenue lending. If you're a person that
line of credit,
if you're a person that, like, revenue lending has nothing to do with credit. If you're a person that can inflate and throwing 20, 30,000
right.
monthly on your business account, in about 3 months of you opening your business, you can get revenue lending, and they're going to give you up to 100 or 150% of what you make monthly.
Right. Now, just a heads up, I recommend doing this like early on and not going too crazy with it because, it is a nice little hack. But, in full transparency, we're not saying to deceive the banks in any way, shape,
absolutely not. And we are not financial advisors. We're
right.
just saying right. things based on experiences and things that we have learned, and we want to share the gems with you guys.
Yeah.
For those people that are looking to start up, businesses, and you want to do it the correct way.
And I just want to piggyback and say, like, for example, if you have a friend and they put, $4,000, well, then what you do in return, so that it actually is a service, you really teach them about, Forex trading,
There's a product.
You can really say, hey, yeah. I taught you, and that's how you can make it all make mm-hmm. sense, so that you dot your I's and cross your T's, because you never want to be in a position where the banks are looking at you sideways. You want to make it make sense. So I don't really recommend the sending your money to your business bank mm-hmm. because that is a little bit tricky, and there yes. is no track record. Whereas
there's ways, friend, yeah.
I mean, there's ways, but it's easier if you have a friend mm-hmm. and then you provide them a service,
because it shows as you're providing a service, and at the end of the day, in reality, you know what's going on. So,
yeah. Exactly.
It's more to make the bank statements look good. And this is all for people that have startups, right? Because people that already have LLCs mm-hmm. and businesses and generating money monthly, right? You're good. Mm-hmm. Right? As long as, and if you missed one of the steps, as far as like you have an LLC and EIN, but you don't have a business address, or you don't have a business phone number, like, you can still do that. Right. You can still put that on your profile. You can still create a business account if you don't have one, right? And it's more so, these are things that we're saying because when you start a business, if you do it the right way, if you start the package the right way and you mm-hmm. present it, you don't. What are you looking? What are you looking to do? If you're starting an e-commerce or anything, you're gonna need startup capital. Were you gonna use your own capital? You guys tuned in 2 episodes ago or 3-4 episodes ago. I don't know when. On OPM. Yeah. What's OPM? Other people's money. And what's other people's money? By that we mean using credit, using mm-hmm. What they're giving us. We just need to learn the right way to use these things to our advantage, right? So you want business funding, and you want a package that looks ideal for these banks to look at and say, I trust this business and it's not a high risk business, this is a gem right here. Your business name is very important, and the purpose of your business when creating your LLC is very important. Pick your words wisely. You have AIs nowadays. Go into ChatGPT. Make sure that the words are wise, because there's certain words that just a one word, for example, financial forex markets, that automatically, if you put there, there's a lot of people that are going to.
I'll give an example.
Yeah,
my brother, he had a business. Is like, he had the word dope in there, but he meant like dope, like cool, like 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 just be dope, like like that. No big deal to him, but from a banking standpoint,
it doesn't look like
the word dope. Even though, it sounds like...
We use it in the urban community.
Dope, like
it's
that.
Dope. But you know what dope...
standpoint, it was like dope. What, there's...
Illegal substance, yeah.
Yeah, there's questions around there. So picking the name is always important because...
Very important.
Excuse me, his business was just selling T-shirts that, promote self-love. But again, that goes to show that you have to really make sure your name, passes the smell test, as they call it.
Yes. And it's very important. The name, and also LLC is going to ask you, what is your purpose or your mission for this business?
Right.
Make sure that you know what you say. Keep it nice and short. A sentence or two is okay. And, watch your words and just understand that you have to try to be as universal as possible. That's all I'm saying, right? So that is your main... What is it? 5 steps, right? We would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps into creating an LLC. And now she's going to explain to you how you can create it, obviously, another way, right? Which is the way.
So another option is you can use a company that I use out of Delaware. They're called Harvard Delaware Services. Let me double check, make sure I'm not.
Harvard Delaware Services. And you have to contact Harvard Delaware Services and let them know that we're going to need this sponsorship.
Yeah, I've given a lot of people this information, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and need... Their website is DelawareInc.com.
DelawareInc.com. And the reason why you use that is because you obviously use it from Delaware.
Yeah, and also it's really quick. Like, I got an LLC, actually an incorporation done. This is another gem. This is when you start really kind of getting into business heavy, but you can incorporate your name, and that's something that I've done. And so there's benefits to that.
Nice.
Nice. And so I'll get into that on another episode because that's a major gem.
It's a major gem.
Major like it's crazy. So
yeah. I can see it.
I think that using them, Delaware Inc. Ask for Andrew. Tell him Natasha sent you.
There you go, Andrew.
Yeah,
know what you gotta do, man.
He's really good, and they get it done for you. Turnaround time, EIN, company's done, and then you can just send that to your bank. And once you start, the way that you want to really kind of put yourself in position, have a great relationship with your bank. Have a set banker.
Oh man.
Because my banker, I just email her the doc.
So important.
And then it's like I just come in and sign. I don't have to go through all the stress and and so. That's one of the things that it's important to have.
I think that's a big
relationship
gem.
with your bank.
It's super important to have a relationship with your bank. And honestly, I'm gonna say this. You shouldn't have one business account. Obviously, you want to start with one,
right?
But you want to build as many relationships with bank institutions as you possibly can, because you want to continue to build your business with OPM, with other people's money, with credit, right? It's not about, you're not using the credit and the funding to go fucking party. That's not what this is for. It's you're using the money to for your business so that way you can get a return of investment and not have to use your own capital.
Right.
This is how the wealthy move.
Right.
You understand? So 100%. We want to make sure that we are moving as the wealthy. How do you want to become wealthy and you're not moving as the wealthy?
Right.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So, I think, for those that like the hands-on, right? I pretty much just gave you the whole steps on how to create it yourself. For those that want it done, you can go to inkfile.com or Delaware. What is it again?
Delaware Inc.
DelawareInc.com. Go, ask for Andrew. And to me, building a business relationship with your banks is super important.
Right.
Right? Having a seasoned business account, right? Because those same banks are the ones that's going to turn around and be the first ones to lend to you because you've already have a bank account with them. You've already built a relationship with them. You've already have revenue coming in through their bank. And there's certain tiers, obviously, in banks, whereas like if you're coming in monthly, if you constantly have anywhere between 1,000 to 10,000 in your account, there's a certain tier. But once you hit 10,000 and above, there's a certain other tier that you get access to, different things within that bank. So 100%. It's very, very important to build a relationship with your bank, even it's just on a personal level.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it'll be easier for you to get personal credit lines and things like that, right? So let's talk about personal credit profile.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about personal credit profile because that's one of the things that some of our people kind of, brought up.
Yeah. I think I'll start off by saying, first of all, if your credit is bad or if you get a ding,
it's good credit for you.
I was at an 800 before. It was 810. That was my best.
Don't brag. Why are you bragging?
I'm just saying that was the best that I was at. But I wanted to say this to people: if you get a ding on your credit, try to fix it as soon as possible. Don't let it, carry on and just let it snowball out of control. Especially right now with where the economy is at. The bureaus, are being smart, but there's a lot of data breaches and things that have occurred. And so make sure your information is not compromised, because put these locks on your credit. I mean, Experian will let you do it where you can lock up your credit profile to where nobody can even use it without them calling you and doing a verification. It's so important because right now, people are in desperate times. They are going to pull whatever scams and tricks that they can to get your information. Yep. And so protect yourself as much as possible.
Absolutely.
I think a good credit score, truthfully, is about a 740. I think that a couple of things that you can do to get your credit score up. First thing is if you're renting, you should be having a company that literally reports your rent payments to the bureaus.
That's a big gem.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that.
They
Guys,
don't know it.
You can report your rent on your credit profile and it will boost your score up.
It can boost you anywhere between 25 to even 50.
That's a lot of points.
If you go to, and they should give me a freaking thing for this shout out, but rentreporters.com is one that's verified. Yeah. And they can backdate it. That's where you get the true
Wait.
Yes.
Hold on. Hold the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, they can backdate.
Okay, so you mean they can take your entire history from where you're currently living at?
Yeah.
That's fucking beautiful.
If you were like, dang, I wish I would have did this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They can backdate it.
That's fire.
And so that backdatedness that they are offering is where you're going to see the biggest boost.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to see a 50-point increase or something.
What's the website again?
Rentreporters.com.
Rentreporters.com. Go report your rent on your profile, on your credit profile. It's going to help your credit profile crazy, especially because they backdate.
And then there's Experian Boost, which
allows you to put your phone bills. And,
your phone bill, your cable bill. I've never used them. I have used Rent Reporter like years ago, and I did see, this is me speaking from things that I've actually used. Experian Boost, I think because they are the bureau, they try to get their hands in the pot.
Yeah.
I see what they did. For some people, they've seen success. Some are like, I only saw a 5-point increase, right? But Rent Reporter, you're going to see a big increase.
Yeah,
Another thing I would recommend.
Rock with Rent Reporter.
Yeah. Something else you can do is there's other ones out there that are competing with Rent Reporter.
But they might not backdate.
They might not. But if you, same way with credit stacking, stack up with all of them and get that boost. That's a big gem right there because it's like, okay, it's $29.99 a month or it's $50 a month. Who cares? If you're seeing that type of increase on your score, it's worth it.
Yeah, 100% is worth it. And it just...
Now, they may have gotten smart and don't let you like double and triple dip.
Yeah.
Before they did let you do that.
Yeah, but these are gems, guys. And this is very important. To me, I would say this, right? Definitely a 740 would be a great credit score. Now, get yourself an Experian subscription. It's $30 a month.
Yeah.
It allows you to have access and protect your credit. Like if you don't have that, go get that if you really want to make some moves, right? Because it's very important to protect your credit. Have credit protection. Right. You can, just like you said, you can freeze I have it. She has it. It's very important, right?
Experian the most.
100%. And you can get your credit reports from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And for those that don't know, your score that really matters is your FICO score, right? Not from all three, your FICO score. That's the one that matters. That's the one that Experian gives you. Now, having at least, right, a 675 FICO score can open the doors to a lot of stuff. Obviously,
that's true. Now I want to just because I said 740.
No.
Where it's excellent, right? Like it's an excellent score. A 695, truthfully. You said 695, right?
675.
Oh, sorry, 675. See, I keep going up.
It's good.
So 675, I'm going to be honest. Mm-hmm. My true opinion, you should be in the 700 club. Like
100%.
But
100%.
The way to get there, if you're at 675, the easiest way is just have somebody add you as an authorized user. Oh. Like, say it to your girlfriend or your boyfriend who has a card. Mm-hmm. Like, my ex, I added him to my card, he added me to his cards, right? Like, it's just like, you don't have to give them the physical card.
Yo, you don't have to
give the physical card.
Nothing. No, and you get it. You get the in the mail, but you do not have to give them the physical. It's more so. Here's the deal. I'm so with you on that. Like, a 675 FICO score can go up crazy as soon as you get an authorized user, right? Or if you don't have a sister that has a great. Now, make sure that the authorized user, because here's the deal, right?
Yeah, we got to break that down.
Yeah, here's the deal. People believe that it's the score. It is the score. But there's many people that have a 750 FICO score, right? But have no seasoned accounts. Might have one for like a year or 2 years. So, and you can get denied with a 720 if your history is not extensive. Now, what's good history? We've spoken about that before.
10 years is really good. Also, something else, ask your grandmother to add you, right? Because if you ask your grandmother, usually people's grandparents have credit cards that they've had for 20, 30,
time.
40 years, right? Like all my cards I've had like 12, 15 years, right?
Yeah.
Think about a grandparent how long have they had it, So look in your inner circle, your parents, and think about it this way. As a family unit, right? You have to think to yourself, okay, going into 2024, none of us should have bad credit.
Hell no.
Like, we should be able to do X, Y, and Z. If something hit our credit, we should be able to fix it. We should be able to figure it out. And don't get me wrong, things happen. Like, something pinged my account recently. I was like, what is this?
Well, this can happen by you even are actually getting frauded and not realizing.
Listen.
If you don't have protection on your,
What happened is crazy. It was a veterinarian bill for $1,000. And I'm like, I was out of town. My mom took my dog to the vet. They didn't even, I didn't sign anything. We didn't communicate that you was going to like bill me like that. She didn't even stay the night. $1,000? They put it to my credit. They didn't even have my social. So that's something else to be cautious of.
You got it.
They find. I'm like, dang, that's not even my daughter. That's my dog-ter. And they figured out that you see that bar there?
Oh, Dad, you got that. That was good.
But they was like, they found me. I'm like.
And the crazy thing is that they'll be able to find you based on just adding other things, addresses, and all. Okay, this is the Natasha. So, and the crazy thing is that this happens all the time.
Yeah.
This happens if you're not, and this is why it's important to have and pay a subscription like a $30 and have an Experian, account, have Identity IQ, right, or .com that helps you just security for your credit. And for those that don't know, for all my dealers and all that stuff, you could have 500,000. If you ain't got no business credit, you ain't got no personal credit, you ain't doing nothing. My boy.
Yeah, you gotta have credit.
Credit is much more. Credit. I'm not gonna say it's more important, but credit is as important as capital, right? Yeah. And if you have great capital and no credit, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But if you have great credit and a little bit of capital, man, they'll give you the world.
Yeah.
You just
and people who are dealing with bad credit, they're probably like, well, what do I do? I have a place referral only. And so you can, reach out and, we can figure out how to 100%. Get you connected. Yeah. I don't like putting that on my shoulders like that, but I know what it feels like when you like,
no, we got to help them.
What can I trust? What can I do?
No, listen.
And so it's like,
we both do, right? So if you have bad credit, we're not going to put you, just hit us up on the side, right? If you have us on Instagram, Facebook, comments, something like that, right? We'd be able to help you. Shout out to Rose. She's an attorney that works on my credit. She protects my credit. I mean, she's done some amazing things on my credit. So shout out to Rose, man. And it obviously, Tasha here has someone as well. We are plugged up with these kind of people. So, hit us up. We'll be able to help you. We want to be able to help everyone.
I like that Rose is an attorney. My attorney side. I'm like,
of course.
Because my people is not, it's a company,
mm-hmm.
and it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
But,
we can worry about. But Rose, I'm going to tell you, she's efficient, and she is a class act. Like, she knows exactly how to attack these dispute letters and these things with consumer law.
Right.
And this is why it's very, very important. Consumer law can shut down everything. Because if you guys don't know, the credit game is over for you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all
consumer
a game.
law is so important.
Yeah, it's all a game. You just got to know how to play it.
And let me just say this for anybody out there. Like, a lot of people know I'm in law school now, and it's an interesting journey. For anybody who's trying to figure out a field, I'm gonna be honest with you. Look into law school. I know it's gonna sound overwhelming and it's crazy, but here's why. The lady he just talked about, Rose, for example, mm-hmm. she will get clients on a regular basis, consistently,
yep.
right? Because people are always going to need to have their credit fixed, and you're going to trust an attorney to get it done more than anybody. You see how I sat here and was like, oh, you got an attorney? Oh, I need to, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because that's a better avenue than just going through a company.
It's more knowledge, it's more substance, because first of all,
credibility.
Yeah, I mean, you can be plugged up with the company all you want. At the end of the day, when you're plugged up with an individual, right? And
mm-hmm.
we get off this, I definitely got to plug you into her.
Yeah.
Just to have it on deck.
For sure.
She's a great person. She's Dominican too. She's based in Texas, and she's a straight attorney, right? And she knows consumer law like the back of her hand, and she's done some amazing things on my credit, and at the same time, she's been very efficient,
mm-hmm.
very efficient, right? When you deal with a company, even if we're plugged in with these companies, you're still just another client in the bunch, right? But when she owns her own business on doing this, right? And I've dealt with like 3 different credit companies before her,
mm-hmm.
right? And obviously maybe not plugged up like knowing somebody like that, but just companies. And man, think about it. Let's be smart. If you're paying $100 a month for Lexington Law or $50 or whatever, they're not trying to get you in and out as soon as possible.
Right. They want
to fix your credit, but it's a subscription-based business, so they want you to stay for as long as you can, right? And so they'll take their time. It's not that they won't help you. They'll help. They'll take their time though. But see, when you have an individual like Rose, she's straight going into your profile, and she is doing the most intricate details. I mean, she's looking at your late and on time payments on every single account. I mean, just crazy. And she also will give you a lot of education and knowledge on the things that you should be doing to get your profile better outside of like, removing collections and things like that. So I think it's shout out to Rose, man. She's great. She's done an amazing job on my credit. So
that's awesome.
I think that the score, FICO score, is very important, but your history, you need to make sure that you have good history, right? And like Tasha was saying,
and a diverse profile. You need to have a credit card.
Yes, credit cards.
Now, there's 2 things I want to mention when we're talking about this.
Yep.
Secured credit card.
Huge.
That is really big.
Mm-hmm.
Navy Federal is one of the only banks that offer it, that reports to all 3 bureaus as if it's a regular credit card.
I got a gem right now.
So
glad you said that.
Yeah. So
it popped the ooh.
So secure credit card, just in case you don't know. You give $1,000 to Navy Federal. Mm-hmm. They put it on a card for you. Basically, you're fronting the money for the credit card. You're showing them, hey, I might have had some shaky things on my credit before, but I want to show you that you can trust me again. Almost like a relationship with a person gets caught cheating, right? It's like, let me show you that I am worth.
Build this trust again.
Yeah, let's build this trust. So you give them 1,000 or 500 or even 100. I recommend at least 5, and then you can pay it. Now, there's companies that also do that in a loan. So on your credit profile, you should have a credit card. You should have a loan. You should have an auto loan, and then ideally you should also have a mortgage if you're.
I did it. Now, if you don't have a mortgage, just a secure credit card, one of those loans, right? Which I'm actually going to give a gem on. What was the other one? A car loan.
Yes.
A regular loan as well.
Yeah.
And a regular credit card.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you have at least 3 of those things,
they may not be able to qualify for the regular credit card, so you got to do secure. Yes.
First. Oh well, we're talking about the people with bad credit.
Well, for those who. like if you're looking, well, let's break it down. If you're looking to just improve your score, then you should be looking at your overall profile.
Yes.
You should be under 15% utilization across everything.
Yes. In reality, I'm with that. But in the sense, not obviously, now we're gonna go with information that comes from Rose, right?
Yeah.
She knows more than us, right? When it comes to this.
Absolutely.
As long as we're keeping that usage at 30% or less, we're golden. Obviously, she told me about the 15%. She said, if you're at 15, they're giving you the world.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go above. Yes.
It's if you want to be above the 30 is cool. But if you want to really be able to qualify for more things, when they see that low 15,
super.
It is the golden.
Yeah.
The golden.
Now it's all percentage, right? Because you can have 100,000 of credit, and be below 30%, or you can have 20,000 of credit and still and be at 15 or be above 30%. It's all a percentage, right? But definitely don't want to go above 30% on usage. And what I mean is usage of your credit, right? As a whole, right? Not just one credit card, as a whole, from all your credit cards, because that's one thing she taught me. It's only based on credit cards. It's not loans.
Right.
Loans don't put out use because you have a term loan. You have a terms and conditions for the loan. So at the end of the day, you're only paying a certain amount monthly, and that's what you got to pay. But the credit cards is what we're talking about as far as usage. You want to make sure that you keep that usage of all your credit cards at 30% or below. And if you're at 15, like Tasha says, 15%, they're going to roll out the red carpet for you.
Should I drop that gem that I told you earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
But before I forget, I'm going to give them a gem on. But what is a self-pledge loan? Go get yourself Navy Federal Credit Union, right? And if you are like, yo, I don't have any of my family that's veteran, blah, 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 send me a message. I got you. Don't worry about it. Right? No, we don't do anything that's out of the law here. So just saying, right? There's always just things to know and loopholes, right? A self-pledge loan is you building. You said it earlier. You building credit with your own money, right? Now, secure credit card, obviously, it seems like it's what it is, right? But if you do a secure credit card with Navy Fed, then you also, what this self-pledge loan does is, it's minimum $250. You could do $500, $1,000, $2,000, right? And what you're doing is that, it's so funny. They're taking $2,000 from your checking, placing it on your savings, right? And they're taking the money, and then pretty much you have to pay yourself, is what I'm saying. Right. You're pretty much doing a loan to yourself. They're allowing you to create a loan with your own money, and they will pretty much report to all three credit bureaus. Now, if you do this with Navy Federal Credit Union, they're going to report to all three credit bureaus, which is huge, because now you also, that's another gem. You also want to make sure that you do the proper research on the loans and the credit cards that you're getting, because you want them to report to all three bureaus. You don't want them to report just to one or
then
two.
You have a strong score with one, and then the other one.
You want to have a great overall score. So look into Navy Federal Credit Union, self-pledge loan. You're taking your own money and you're giving it to them. And they're giving it back to you as you pay it. That's it. And literally, when as you pay it, it's accessible. Like if your payment is going to, you can pick a term, right? 6 months, 12 months, a year. It all depends on what you want, right? And once you pay monthly, right? Once you pay whatever it is that you're paying a month, $100, $200, it's already accessible in your checkings because it's your own money.
Right. Which kind of goes to my hack I was going to tell them, which is one way to accelerate your credit as well. You can even do this with a self-pledge loan or with the secured credit card, or with your regular credit card, is make 2 payments for that. And then you'll see a boost, right? And so
there's a way to do that too. This is so crazy.
Yeah.
Rose was the one that put me onto that. Actually, last time I was here in Cali, in LA. So you have to figure out your report date, your closing date, and your due date.
Yes.
Right? And you want to make sure that, I'll let you.
Yeah. No, exactly what he's saying. You want to make sure that you have it timed correctly, because that's how you can see the boost in that.
Pretty much, you want to pay. So whatever your due amount is monthly. So if your due amount is $300,
right,
you can split that payment in half and pay $150, the same $300 that you're supposed to pay for the month, you can use and pay $150 2-3 days before the closing date,
right,
and then pay $150 2-3 days before the reporting date. And what happens is that, and as long as you want to make sure that you are ahead of the game, because you don't want to be late, right?
You can call your provider and ask them when you're closing.
What is your report date, your
really
closing
important.
date, and all that, and then you can do it. Obviously, if you're already late for this month, that you want to make sure that you're. It's kind of like staying ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So it comes out as if you are actually making 2 payments in 1 month, which now instead of you making 12 payments in a year, you're making 24 payments in that one car. So you're pretty much doing 2 years worth of history in 1 year, and that shit is major. Call up your credit card provider, whoever that is, and tell them what's your report date, ask them what's your report date, what's your closing date. Actually, you can see it on your bank on the statement, and then make those for the following month, obviously for the next month. Make those payments 2 days before your closing date and 2 days before your report date, and I promise you that it's gonna be boosty.
And I'm gonna leave you guys with one last gem because I see we're out of time.
Yes.
333. So, American Express or Navy Federal as well, right? But get into the habit of not using your debit card no more. This was a huge life hack for me, and I talked about it on my Instagram Live like 2 years ago during COVID, and people went crazy. One of the things that you should be doing is charging everything to your credit card. But it has to be a credit card that gives you points. Yes. It has to be a credit card that gives you rewards. Yes. Now, not just like any kind of rewards. They need to be cash rewards. Navy Federal has a green credit card that gives you cash rewards. I personally like to do this with American Express. I had got to the point where I had like 1.5 million in reward points, and then like you can use that for you can use that for travel, or you can then turn around and use that for your bill. That's a big hack, because now, wait a minute, the money that I already was going to be spending, I just now got credited back to pay you off. Come on.
This is my thing. You shouldn't be using your debit at all.
Yeah.
Because if you know that,
cut your debit card up.
And it sounds crazy, but you're going to use your capital no matter what.
Right.
So if you're looking to boost your credit, it's like exactly like Tasha saying, use everything that you need to pay no matter what, recurring payments every month. You put it on your credit card because you already have the money for it. You're just filtering the money so that way your credit score can boost up, right? So if you have these monthly recurring payments that you need to do, put everything on or diversify based on 2-3 different credit cards that you may have, right? That build points, that give you reward points and all that. Because what you're doing now is that you're still paying your bills. You still got to pay it with debit or regardless, right? So you might as well pay it through the credit, earn the reward points, right? And then with the same capital that you was going to pay your bills, pay your card off. And the reward points, like you said, might even be able to pay your card off half off. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? So either way, you have to pay these things. So you might as well pay it.
Gas, everything that you can, you should be doing. Now, a lot of places say, I don't take American Express. So that's why I say have the Navy Federal. It's a Visa. It's the Navy Federal Cash Reward Card, green. You should have an Amex and that, so that between the two, you know, you can make it happen. But that's really a life hack. And Navy Federal will give it to you as cash and not points. It'll go right into your account with them.
That's a gem.
And then, it's a major gem.
Because you're still going to pay these things.
You're recycling your money.
That's what you're doing. You're just recycling your money. And we gave you guys so many gems as far as like how to build your personal credit, right? And just to leave you guys, because I know we have to go, just 2 more minutes for as far as business, credit, and funding, because we kind of touched everything. And the reason why I brought up, I will say this, late payments. Make sure that you're paying your stuff on time. Late payments are 40% of your profile, of your credit profile. I'm saying it affects 40%. Put it on automation
if you can. Just automate it.
Yeah, put it automated. You know what I'm saying? And you can put it where it's not even the minimum payment. You always want to pay a little bit more than that. And of course, if you want to, you know, call your bank, closing date, report date, obviously you have to do that manually. But if you're somebody that doesn't even need to do that because your credit score is great, then, you know, you just make sure that you put the recurring payments to be paid on time, because late payments, I will say again, late payments affect 40% of your overall score. That's the main thing, right? So,
and I just want to say this, for those who are like, man, my credit is shot, I can't even do nothing, like da-da-da-da. Listen, it's not over. I was talking to somebody the other day, they said their credit has been terrible for 10 years. Why? Because
you let it.
Like,
you let it. You're not attacking it. You're scared.
Fix it.
People are scared. People are scared of the IRS. People are scared to use credit card. Like we've been conditioned to
Yeah.
believe that, oh, we shouldn't use our credit, or that's what we are minorities think. No, this is what they don't want us to know. And this is how the wealthy move, right?
This is the most important thing. Get unstuck.
Get unstuck. It's not that, trust me, the credit is all a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Attack it. Next thing you know, if you have 10 years without it, then you've already waited 10 years. Right. Even if it takes you a year, it's all good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if you sit there and don't do anything, it's going to be another 10 years and you're not going to have credit. So stop complaining and start doing. Another thing, business credit and funding. This is OPM, other people's money.
Yes.
The reason why we brought a personal credit beforehand is because you are going to be a personal guarantor for your business. So your personal credit needs to be up there so that way business funding can become easy for you. That is all I need to say. That is the reason why we brought up all these things. Lenders won't look at you at all if you don't have a business account. So make sure that you do have a business account. You can get funding as little as soon as you start, or as little as 3 months. If your personal credit is right, because they are going to go by your personal credit. You're going to be a personal guarantor. Yes. That's not saying that you're going to be responsible for it. It's only responsible if you do not make those payments within your business. Right. If the business crashes, if the business doesn't succeed and you don't pay the capital, then you are personally responsible for that capital. So that is just something that I wanted to mention. And then obviously the ways of funding would be what we're looking at: credit cards, credit card stacking, lines of credit, bank loans, right? Revenue lending. These are all ways that you can get OPM, other people's money, and business.
And you also can bring on investors, just angel investors. Yes. And then if you have a
hard
corporate
money lenders, if
you have a corporate structure, one thing we were going to talk about that we don't really have a lot of time, which is going to be businesses that people don't think about that are profitable. Mm-hmm. The one I'm going to drop just as our last and final topic, laundromats, right? In California in particular, like I live in LA, I've never had to go to the laundromat growing up, right? So it was not a business that I saw because I always had a washer and dryer in my home. Mm-hmm. But that's not the reality for a lot of people. No, yeah. And as the economy in the world is changing, people are going to be reducing down. People are going to try to cut their expenses. And so laundromats are going to boom. And so that's a business that people should look into. Yep. And I feel like it's an industry that needs to be kind of like even revitalized a little bit. Yeah. It's a little outdated.
Make it cool, I guess,
Yeah. Make it cool, make it fun, make it modern. That's an industry that I think can be very profitable.
Hell yeah.
Pay attention to the boring businesses.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be the
exciting,
razzle dazzle.
It just needs to bring some money. I'll give you one that's a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah.
But this is great. Businesses that do all cash, right? They need to upgrade, right? Or even businesses that don't do all cash, that take cards, right? There's portable card processors. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of businesses most businesses don't have these things. And what happens is that now you can buy with business funding, right? Mm-hmm. These things cost like about $400. You can buy, it's gonna take some work. You can buy 15, 20 of these things, right? Go do your work, go to these restaurants, talk to them, make a deal with them, right? And put these card processors in their businesses. And these things make about 1.5 to 2.5 or 3% on the processing fee. Mm-hmm. That processing fee is yours.
Right.
You understand? So, I mean, do the math. A business is turning out $1,000 a day.
Right.
And you're processing that same processor on that one business, and then you got 10 or 20 of those. Exactly. You got 5-6 businesses running with all 10, 20 of those. I mean, that's cash flow.
And there's companies that'll provide it for you, those machines, but they'll want a little cut. But they'll allow you to obviously, they'll help you kind of get into that.
Into all of that. Business. Yeah, because it's very intricate. We're being very, very surface level, obviously, because we know these things, but it's just surface level because we're running out of time. But that's one that a lot of people don't think about, and that's one that, can add up. It's not that sexy, but it can absolutely add up. I've done some great numbers, and that's something I'll be looking into in the future. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this was a great episode. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Boom. Yes. On the Winter Seat Podcast.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. Appreciate you guys. And
yes,
we'll see you guys on the next episode.
We will see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.